Oh, okay, cool. Let's gender affirming this care.
Don't gender affirming care with a gun, please. Amnesty removes a report that called J.K. Rowling Center anti-rights. So J.K. Rowling is now going to war with a human rights organization because they were like, hey, she's trying to restrict trans people's rights. And she was like, you can't say that. And they were like, okay, we'll take it down because she's a fucking billionaire.
We fold to money.
We fold to money. She's got a lot of power. And on top of that, the libel laws in England are such that it probably was the right move to take it down. Because they would have, if she decided to sue them, that would be a lot of money that they would have to waste on defending themselves. And they're Amnesty International. They've got better things to do with their money than that. So I get why they took it down. It was the correct move to take it down. J.K. Rowling's a piece of shit for making them take it down.
I'll host the article myself. Grab it from the Wayback Machine. I'll host it myself. Fuck it.
I don't have the link. Pink News didn't link to it directly.
They
do have another article where they quote it extensively. But, yeah. So, Amnesty International UK has removed a report which labeled J.K. Rowling Sexual Abuse Crisis Center, Beyres Place, not sure how to pronounce that, as anti-rights, saying it is going through an internal review. So it's a woman-only shelter that excludes trans women from its definition in accordance with how the British Supreme Court has ruled on definitions of biological sex.
So they get to do the same thing that the Salvation Army does when it discriminates against gay people in all of the, quote, good that it does. Cool. I'm glad that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, so J.K. Rowling is a bigot, and she is threatening human rights organizations in order to not be called a bigot.
How dare you say mean words about me, ma'am? You wrote an entire book that argued that a psychopathic killer was cross-dressing specifically so that you could get your fetish off about it. I don't care.
And she wrote it under a man's pen name. Like, really?
Yeah.
So, in the list, in the article preceding the list, they said they were looking at anti-rights actors, which are formal or informal groups, individuals, private and state actors whose aim is to restrict human rights by undermining human rights protections in law and practice. So the fact that she is using the law to be like, we are excluding trans people,
definitionally means
that fits exactly within how they defined it. And among those, this is going to ruin John Cleese for a lot of people. I mean, it's been pretty obvious that he's not really a great guy for years now, but he's in on this too on J.K. Rowling's side.
Please don't tell me that Stephen Fry is on J.K. Rowling's side. I know he voiced...
I have not seen anything about Stephen Fry being on that side.
I know he voiced the Harry Potter books for the UK audience, but I don't want to find out that he also is in her camp.
I don't think he is. He has publicly criticized J.K. Rowling.
Okay. That's...
And so that's as far as I'm going to look into that, because this is one of those things where, like, the more you learn about people that you like, the less you like them. So, yeah, John Cleese said, I was once a major fundraiser for Amnesty, but in those days it was about preventing torture, not about sexual identity. I disowned them.
But the sexual identity thing is about people not being able to afford food, not being able to get a job, not being able to live with their families, not also being able to be accepted by society.
Conversion therapy is torture, and that's a thing that J.K. Rowling is advocating for.
Man, you're reminding me. I need to check into Milo Indianapolis again. Because he wants to set up conversion therapy camps.
Nobody needs to check in on Milo Yiannopoulos. We need to yeet him into the sun.
I mean, then we can check on him during the next solar flare.
Sure.
How's he doing? Extra crispy.
So, Rowling's post, which just, like, she is a piece of shit. Like, she's just not a good person. I don't care what your opinion is of Harry Potter. She's just not a good person.
She's not.
So she posted the article and said, translation, oops, didn't realize people outside this is in response to them pulling the article. So it said, translation, oops, didn't realize people outside our ideological bubble are this pissed off about the loss of sex-based rights. We remain implacably opposed to any organization fighting to retain them, but shove the words rights of women to keep the bigots happy. Shove in the words rights of women to keep...
So, ma'am, you do understand that trans women having rights does not actually take rights away from cis women?
No, she does not understand that.
Rights are not a zero-sum game.
She does not understand that. Because she doesn't see trans women as women, so if you allow a trans woman into a woman's shelter, that's actually letting a man in. And letting a man in would actually be violating their rights. But trans women are significantly more vulnerable to the kind of abuse that would require shelter.
Correct. If you are against trans women being in homeless shelters that are for women, you are inadvertently pro-rape of trans women, because that is the logical conclusion that happens in reality that stems from that decision.
I'll do you one better. As a billionaire, if she's against someone being in a homeless shelter, she has the ability to buy them a home so they don't need the homeless shelter.
She'll never do that, though.
No, she won't do that. But she has the ability to. So if she actually cared, she could just fix the issue.
You're not
wrong. She also said, and I'm sorry you guys can't see this because of where my crop finishes, but she also said, it appears that, as many of us have suspected for years, Amnesty believes certain kinds of humans don't deserve rights. Women, girls, and those who are proudly same-sex attracted. I hope donors... Yeah, like, no, this is just, anti-trans hate-mongering. That's all it is. You remember the good old days when J.K. Rowling would pretend to not be anti-trans and be like, you can't prove that I'm anti-trans, therefore I'm not.
We can now.
It's like, no, you're fully mask off at this point. Like, you wrote a book that resonated with trans people as an allegory. And now you're just like, no, that's not what I meant.
Like, it's sad. So, like, even... There's a bunch of things that I think Harry Potter inadvertently did. One, there's a bunch of people who the only book they've ever fucking read is Harry Potter, which is saddening. On the other hand, there's also people who learned to love reading because of Harry Potter. And, like, when I do want kids. And one of the things I wanted to do with my kids when I got kids was... Every time they hit a year that they would have been in Hogwarts, I was going to hand them the Harry Potter book for that year, because that would have mirrored the experience of growing up with the books, and there's something magical about watching a character grow up with you. I wanted to do that. I could not even bring myself to think of doing that now, because the questions you have to answer after that to the kid.
Yeah, and like, I know there are issues with the story that everybody is... made a million video essays about.
I think that there would be fewer people who did video essays about Harry Potter being a badly written story if it wasn't written by a bigot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think fewer people would care.
Oh, gotta hydrate. Thank you, Conton83. Although I have just started reading I've started reading Snuff by Terry Pratchett, which is arguably his response to how J.K. Rowling handled the house elves situation.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what Sean said in his video about it.
You know what's...
I fucking hate that he chose that as his YouTube name, because now it sounds pretentious for me to be like, oh yeah, Sean. My buddy, it sounds like we're on a first name basis. This is my buddy Sean. No, I've never met the guy. But his YouTube channel name is Sean.
You know what's... So... There is a book series that I will always recommend to people that actually has the
Ursula K. Le Guin one?
No. It has the Fey beings that the house elves are based off of canonically in the story, and they are handled better. And it's the Dresden Files, because the house elves are based off of the brownies. And in the Dresden Files, when he does a major favor for the Fey courts, he gets an army of brownies that just clean his apartment for him, but they specifically will only ever clean his apartment when he's not there. And it's them doing a favor for him that they have power to rescind at any point. Like, if he tells anybody that they're actually doing the favor for him, they automatically rescind the favor right there. They're just like, no, that's like they get to write all of the rules for how they comport with Dresden.
I don't know why, but I thought the Dresden Files was written by Kurt Vonnegut.
No.
But then I looked it up and it's like, it was written in 2007 by some, like, Jason Brown, I guess?
No, Jim Butcher.
Jim Butcher. Sure.
Wingless,
initials JB and it's a generic name.
Wingless Paratrooper says, and the Dresden Files are a better book series about a wizard named Harry. So, okay, fun thing. There's a series of videos about a guy who's running a villain support hotline. And when he's running villain support for Voldemort, Voldemort's going, okay, look, I tried to use my killing curse on Harry. It didn't work, and now there's fireballs being aimed at me. Everything is burning to the ground. I don't understand. There's a giant shaggy dog trying to rip my ankles off. I am so overwhelmed. What is going on? And the guy at the other end is going, hold on a minute. Harry, different Harry? Is he 7 feet tall and he's got a trench coat? Fucking run. Leave. There's nothing you can do.
So Olivia Williams for $7 Canadian says, people did realize how bad the writing was because of her politics. It shed a new light on the books. So I will say my own personal experience with that is that I've never actually read the books. I've only ever listened to the audiobooks, and my version was Jim Dale. I think Jim Dale did a phenomenal job with them. I'm sure Stephen Fry was fine as well.
I've listened to both Dale's and Fry's. I prefer Fry's.
Okay. But I do remember certain aspects of it bothering me, not necessarily writing style-wise, but like how much she was harping on how fat Dudley was. Like stuff like that. It did bother me, but it didn't really register. Mm-hmm. And then when I started seeing like the video essays on it, I was like, oh yeah, that did bother me. But I'm also kind of hesitant to actually say that because I, like, as someone who has spoken and like read a bunch of literature on how easy it is to create false memories, I'm like, did I actually think that when I first listened to them on audiobook? Or do I just feel like I think that and I have now created a false memory accidentally? So, I don't actually know, but I feel like it did sort of bother me, but it never really... Like, I was able to kind of put it aside.
Yeah, Ravi and Lenari are talking about the stereotypes associated with the kids. So, like, another thing to note, though, is that tons of authors, good and bad, fall back, especially when they're writing, like, an ensemble cast, will fall back on tropes and will fall back into stereotypes. It's not always a judgment call on the author if they do or if they don't. It just so happens that with J.K. Rowling, we know she's a bigot, so we have a really good lens to see what those stereotypes look like through her.
Yeah, like, well, one of the things that I like to think really did rub me the wrong way was like how nothing really changed systemically.
Oh yeah, no. So so before we even knew her politics, one of the jokes that was always thrown about Harry Potter was that it was the Millennial Book of Theory, and the reason that it was the Millennial Book of Theory is ultimately the beginning and the end of the book is let us maintain the status quo. Like the entirety of the book series is we need to maintain the status quo. Which, to be fair, like again. That like is...
Harry spends half the books fighting against Aurors who are being the bad guys, and then at the end of them he's like, I want to be an Auror when I grow up.
Yeah. The system will magically not be corrupt now that I am the one in charge.
Well. To quote the last line of the book after he thought about having his slave make him a sandwich.
But again, another thing to note is that when you're doing storytelling, there are a handful of types of stories. There's a limited amount of them, and two of the hero's journey type stories are the world is fundamentally wrong, allow me to write it, or something has fundamentally went wrong with the world, allow me to bring us back to where we were. And
so that's where Snuff comes in. As now, I'm not done reading it yet. I'm still like in the very beginning of it. There's no chapters in it, so I can't tell you how far in I am. I think I'm somewhere around page 100. But that's one of the things that Sean brought up in his video, is that it doesn't necessarily fix the systemic issues, but at least it acknowledges them as issues and has the main character do what he can towards fixing them in the book.
As opposed to making fun of Spew?
Yeah.
Because that's...
As opposed to just being like, that's the way it is. Oh, they like being slaves. It's like, no, let's get to know this character.
Like, so I had the conversation about the Harry Potter stuff with a friend of mine who's a VTuber on stream. We actually did a video series on it, and she brought up the fact that the house elves were made after the brownies, and so it's actually not technically slavery. And I'm just like, yes, but if you read other books that have the brownies in them and see how they're treated in those books, and then look at the house elves are just treated like slaves. Like, that's like, they, regardless of the fact that they are made after the brownies, the characters that are made as house elves are in fact enslaved.
Yeah. Like they work for no money and can be freed.
Yeah, you could...
Sounds like slavery.
Like, you could write a version of the house elves where that's not the case. You could. It would be very easy to, and she chose not to. She even exclusively chose to have a character whose view on the situation was that this is not right, and then that character was made fun of for those ideas, and then she dropped them as she got older. Like, it was literally... Hermione had a phase where she was an activist, and that's it. She was a phase mom.
Being anti-slavery was just a phase.
So, like, again, I will generally say, as I always will say about that series, we scrutinize it more because we know about the author. Just like we know more about H.P. Lovecraft, so when we see how he depicts black people, for instance, we're just like, yeah, no, they're not all creepy shamans. When we know about the, I mean, I'm talking about just within the literature, though.
I know. I'm just saying, don't.
But I know
Lovecraft cat name.
But yeah, we know what he named his cat as well. Like, because we know that about the author, we can add that extra lens of scrutiny to what's there. We don't always get that opportunity with every author. For all I know, several of the authors who've written stuff that I love are also bigots. They just don't happen to be as famous and as vocal as this one.
I'm sorry. I have to say the name now.
Yeah?
Neil Gaiman.
I don't think I've actually read anything from him.
No?
No.
Okay.
What's he?
Sandman?
Nope.
Good Omens?
I've watched Good Omens, but I haven't read it.
What's that? There's another one. I forget. There's a lot that he's done that I have enjoyed. And then it came out that he's not just a sex pest. He's like one of the worst types of sex pest there is. It's like,
with children?
No, I don't think any allegations were about children. But it's like sadistic shit, grooming shit, power dynamics shit. American Gods, that's the other one. Those are the big ones that he's probably most well known for. There's a bunch more. And I hate how much of a piece of shit he is because I have really enjoyed a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, that's the more you know about people who do things like there's
like. So this is where like you talk about separating the author from the art, separating the artist from the art, sort of thing, and like setting aside that he's still alive. So if you get stuff from him legally, he's still benefiting from it. So that there's a moral aspect there. Setting that aside. I now have this issue where, like, when I'm listening to an audiobook or watching a show or whatever that I know he has written, I'm just like, I that's all I can think about is
you can't unthink about it.
Like, it's not even about, like, I now think his stuff is bad. It is that I can't even get to a point where I can analyze it to be bad or good because I'm just distracted by who he is.
So I'm likely going to be re-going through the Harry Potter audiobooks at some point. And I have not read the series since I started fighting as hard as I do for trans rights. So I don't know what's going to go on in my head while I'm rereading it. It may very well be that halfway through Sorcerer's Stone, I just drop it and go, I can't. I don't know. We will see. And I'll probably make a video about like what it's like to read Harry Potter in 2026 or something like that, because that may be something that somebody is interested in. Who knows? But
I'm not going to lie. Even though they all make the exact same points, every time I see a video recommended to me by YouTube about the problems with Harry Potter, I click the shit out of that.
Yeah?
Every goddamn time. It was like, they all make the exact same points. They talk about the same shit. It's been done to death. I watch every one of them.
It is a dead horse, and we beat it because it's fun.
Yes.
So yeah,
go ahead and make that video, if for no one else than me.
Okay, fair. It will be a live stream clip. I will basically just set up notes and then talk about it live, but still.
That is okay. You are one of the only creators who I can watch live stream clips of, and that's probably because that's the only way we interact, is in a live stream. So it's like, yeah, that's what I know of Suros.
That's fair. See, I thought it was going to be an actual like judgment call on me doing well as a content creator and something,
nope.
But nope, it's entirely bias. You know what?
It's entirely, this is experientially the way it is for me.
I'll take that as well. I'll take the bias. Why not?
I remember liking your videos back when you scripted them with your male avatar.
Boy, I have news for you. I didn't script then either.
Okay.
Like, I've probably done a grand total of 10 videos with a script in my entire time on YouTube, maybe 20. What I normally do is I will set up notes, and I will have those notes on a monitor, and I'll use those to keep track of where I am and what I should be doing. And if it's like a research-heavy video, then I'll have quotations and stuff there, maybe, or I'll have it highlighted on whatever thing that I'm having to quote from. But
I can't. I need to have all my thoughts written out properly.
No,
if I don't have the sentence in front of me on the teleprompter, I can't, like, you can actually tell I'm better at it than I used to be, but it used to be you could tell when I was going off script, because that was the only time I would start saying ums and uhs, because I'm just bad at not saying them. And like suddenly my sentence structure goes to shit, and like I have a different cadence. Like, I know, like, as a viewer watching, it's probably not that jarring, but as the person making the video that knows where I had a script and where I didn't, it was incredibly jarring to me.
For me, the one that I use, I don't use a lot of ums and ahs. I managed to beat that out of me, but the way that I did it was adding in filler words, where instead of ums and ahs, it would be something like me going something to the idea of kind of sort of like that exact thing that I just did right there is what it would be. And it makes
kind
the sentences, it makes the sentences longer, but it adds nothing to it. But it physically stops me from saying It stops me from saying ah.
Eli Bosnick of God Awful Movies fame, who I will be starring on God Awful Movies on Tuesday.
Hell yeah.
If I promote that. So Eli Bosnick has a funny story of when he took his kid to preschool, because being a foul-mouthed podcaster for years, he did the same thing as you, where he turned, like, he would use words instead of ums and ah, like he would find filler words.
Yep.
And his main go-to filler word was all the variants of the word fuck. And so first day he's dropping his kid off at preschool, and she asks him a question, and he's like, I don't know, fucking shit, I shouldn't have said that. Like, so that's the first impression that his preschooler parents got. And obviously he told the story way better than me. I have no fucking idea which podcast of his it's on or which episode it's on. So have fun listening to all the back catalogs if you actually want to hear the story.
CL in the chat goes, so what's worse, filler words making one potentially sound more AI-like, or filler words that are more genuinely human?
I just pronounce M- out loud when I'm talking.
It's not that. It's something else. And I need to say this 3 times. Oh, and the one that's been integrating itself into AI recently, I need to say the particular something. That's a phrase that's been working its way into AI recently that's confused the fuck out of me.
I need to say the particular something.
So, as an example, let's say that we're talking about a police officer, and the police officer's walking. The way the AI might describe it is the officer walked with the particular gait of an officer that's been doing the job for 5 years. Instead of using any words to actually describe what that gait might look like, it just says the particular insert description of who the person is. And then the user, I guess, fills in the blanks.
I'm just having flashbacks to the cops from Idiocracy being like, this particular individual has been violating the law. This particular individual has no tattoo. Like they had the dumbed down cop speak where they're trying to sound intelligent without actually being intelligent.
More and more.
Anyway, that's what that made me think of. Shall we move on to tweets?
Sure, why not? Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.